Joe Wayne reporting for the AntiCoIntelPro show. And the reason that I am reporting to you folks today is just to let you know a good portion of the people, and this is probably going to be the portion that's not going to be watching this video that I'm actually talking about. So I can feel pretty free in my discussion not being filtered by the people that I'm actually referring to, okay? So basically, we're not like you. We're nothing like you. There's a large portion of the population that the people who are watching this video have nothing, well, I guess has something to do, genetically speaking, with us. But there has been a literal evolution going on. And this is an evolution that crosses all racial and cultural and geographical boundaries. Okay? Crosses all of those. And this evolution has been going on for probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not probably millions of years. Okay, and that's why I say to a lot of people, we're different species. We're actually, at this point, and I'm going to delineate this and explain to you exactly how 12% of us are not even the same species as the other 88%. Okay? So basically, what we have here, and David Icke, Jesse Ventura, you snake, David Icke was right. You merely intimidated him using your R-complex based mind and your physical size. You intimidated him and you shut him down and you attacked him, okay? Put him in a place of fear. Put him in a place to where he, like you, resorted, back into his R-complex based brain that he knows well the attributes of that I'm going to explain to you. There was a book, and my information is not based on David Icke's salacious claims, okay, because he's a media person, and what media people do, he came from the BBC, okay, as all media people do. As they're learning, people will not watch you unless you give them a salacious headline, unless you give them a sexy headline, okay, unless you give them something to make their head snap back. Whether or not it's true is inconsequential, okay, to the media complex. So, basically you have, and this is a book from Dr. McLean, I don't know how he pronounces it, but Dr. McLean has a book called, and I'm going to leave links for all of these articles and all of this information that I am relaying to you folks that are like me, the 12%. So you have the R-complex mind, or the reptilian mind. The R-complex mind is the oldest mind, and what happens, folks, this is how we evolve, okay? This is how our brain evolves, or how it has evolved over the millions of years. Once a new portion of your brain, once you learn more, your brain cells grow, and whatever you've learned, amassed in a certain amount of time, depending on what type of information it is and how useful it is to your survival as a vessel, well then, that information will either, or that brain mass will either grow or it will decrease or it will stay relatively the same size. This is what's happened, okay? Our oldest brain, which is called the R complex, or the reptilian brain. The reason they call it a reptilian brain is because it is responsible for all our basic survival instincts, our basic motor functions, our eating, our sleeping, all our survival instincts, all of our basic instincts for survival is what the reptilian brain is used for. Okay. Once we learned more, we started growing another portion of our brain, which is called the limbic region. Okay, that's a little bit bigger than the reptilian brain. The limbic region is responsible for sending chemical signals to the body or to the brain that gives you emotional responses to certain scenarios, and that is how memory is created, is by attaching a certain emotion to certain information. That way you remember it, okay? That's the limbic region. Then you have the higher mind, which is the Neo-Cortex. This is the part of the mind, and this is the biggest part of the brain that is responsible for reasoning, for logic, for creativity, okay? For all the higher reasoning aspects of your mind, okay? Well, this part of the mind, in a certain sect, has continued to evolve, okay? In the large sect, it hasn't evolved yet to this point, but in 12% of the population, what you have is a bigger mass, and this is my observation, okay? As a layperson, as a person with a working higher mind, okay? This is what I see. This is what I've discovered in my research. You have 12% of the population that cannot be hypnotized, okay? For whatever reason, and I am one of those 12%. I've had many people try to put me under. It's impossible. Using whatever triggers they've tried. And all the trigger is an external device to trigger an emotional response, okay? Which is a programmed response to a certain stimuli, okay? None of those triggers have worked on me. So you have 12% of the population, and you can research it yourself. I will leave links and images to illustrate this. But you have 12% that can't be, let's say 12 to 15% is what the article says, okay? What the articles have said. They've always said 12 to 15%. 15% is within the plus or minus 3% error, margin of error that is in all polls, okay? So that's why I say 12% of us. Okay, so you have 12% of us that cannot be hypnotized, okay? And this is a directly correlated, and call me crazy if you want, but here it is, folks. It's directly correlated with the amount of people that own cats, okay? For whatever reason, we have 12% of the population that cannot be hypnotized. You also have 12% that I suspect that same 12% is the same 12% that are cat owners, okay? I don't know why that correlation exists. I don't know why my cat chose me. You know, my cat, I didn't go looking for a cat. My cat picked me up when I was walking the dog. I told him, he was emaciated, look, if you want to follow me home, and he was a kitten, you know, with the attention span of a kitten. I said, if you want to follow me home, I'll give you a bite to eat. And he's been here ever since, you know. So he kind of chose me, okay? And we kind of chose each other. Cats are methodical, just like the cat owners that own them, okay? If you're a cat owner, you will realize, unlike a dog owner, you cannot put that cat, you cannot put that dog, rather, in an apartment and not have that apartment ripped to shreds or shit everywhere, literally, because dogs aren't evolved enough to realize that shit is nasty, and they want to play in it rather than put it in a litter box like a cat does, okay? Cats also are smart enough and evolved enough to where you can, like I do my cat, I let him go out wherever he wants to go, and he's smart enough to know where his food is, so he comes back, okay? I don't cage any animals, okay? I don't imprison anything, Most specifically, I will never imprison train of thought, okay? Never. So you have the direct correlation of the 12% of the cat owners are also, in my assumption, the 12% that cannot be hypnotized. We are the 12% that have the higher evolved Neo-Cortex for whatever reason, the 88%, and these are the 88% that are watching the Miley Cyrus videos, okay? These are the 88% that are watching the Weird Al and the Jenna Marble videos, okay? That are getting millions and millions and millions of it. It's not just the kids, okay? It's the programmed masses, the 88% of the programmed masses that are locked into this R-complex reptilian-based mindset that basically, eat, sleep, sex is what your instincts are. To survive by eating and to propagate or to release yourself or to pleasure yourself through sex, okay? Natural instincts, pleasure feels good, okay? That's also a learned response, but it's a natural learned response. It's not a conditioned response from an outside stimuli. It's something that you do internally. And if you don't know, sex is all about up here, okay? All about the mind. That's why rapists rape people, not to get off, because you can masturbate if you want to get off. They rape people so they can control their mind. Because once you rape somebody or destroy somebody emotionally in a way, they are always a prisoner. You always have control of their mind or some sect of their mind, okay? So this is what's going on. You have the really sick sociopath, 80% of the unevolved, 88% of the unevolved masses that are running things, okay? And then you have the rest of the 88% that are just going along for their ride because they're not smart enough or they don't have the energy or unfortunately intelligence enough to know the tricks to survival, which is knowledge, okay? They just don't know this. They don't know that if you eat the right things, the right leafy green vegetables, if you eat organic food, they don't know that you're going to live a lot longer than they are. They don't know that the reason you're not getting cancer is because you're eating turmeric, okay? It's not because you're getting radiation, okay? It's just not. Like I said before, you can't watch CIA News Network in front of a green screen and expect reality. At any rate, this is Joe Wayne with the AntiCoIntelPro show and the 12% the evolved ones, the awake ones. You guys, good day.